Okay guys, this is Chris. I'm about to do my John Deere 318 46-inch deck MegMo blade review. So here's what we're going to be cutting today. Quick look at the height. This grass is not that bad. You got, some pieces at 5 or 6 inches. I mowed it last week. Hasn't grown a lot. So this is the starting point. I want to see what these blades are going to do. So before we do anything, I'm going to take a couple of passes with the current blades, which are Gator mulching blades, and we'll take a look and see what we end up with there before we change anything. Okay, so we just did a couple of passes with the Gator blades. You can see the area that I cut. Again, this wasn't too high to begin with. If we take a look, here's what you typically have left behind. Not bad. These blades do a decent job. This grass in this area of my lawn grows pretty quickly. So if I don't mow it once or twice a week, you end up with a lot of stuff like this. And I either bag it or I mow it at a couple of different heights. So, looking for a little bit better performance. Again, not the greatest test, but the rest of what I'm going to mow here, you're going to see some of this grass is a little bit higher, so we'll see what happens once we make the switch. Again, this is a John Deere 318. It's got the Honda GX620 engine in it, as opposed to the original B43. So we'll get those MegMo blades on there and see how we do. Alright, so here we are underneath the mower deck, which I've cleaned up a little bit, but I'm not going to get crazy because I want to keep this test pretty fair. Here's what the MegMo blade looks like in place. You can see that, hard to tell, but it sits a little bit lower in the deck than the existing blade. So I'm going to have to adjust the deck height a little bit to compensate for that. I don't think it's going to be a problem. The thing I just noticed is that with the washer in place, and the clearance here is a little bit tight as these things are going to be spinning around. I really don't think that matters. Worst comes to worst, I'll cut a little bit off of the corners. I also noticed that I have a broken weld I have to fix, but I'm going to leave that for another day. So I'm going to get the other two in place here and then give this a shot. Alright, here we are 10 minutes later or so, all ready to go. Again, you can see that some of these are a little bit tight, so you have to make sure you have them on in the right spot before you bolt everything down. And realistically, I think the corners of these need to be knocked off. Most of them are okay, so I'm not going to bother doing that right now. I want to get a better idea of what's going on, so I'm about to put this back on and give it a shot. Okay, so here we are back again. I've got the MegMo blades installed. I heard in doing my research, I noticed that people said the sound is a lot different. I just fired it up and they don't sound too different. The deck seems to rattle a little bit more, so I'm going to start it, going to mow a little bit, and then we'll take a look and see how we do. So here we are basically done, and considering that I did not try to mow this in such a way to eliminate the grass piling up, I just kind of drove around to see how the blades were doing. This looks pretty good. Taking a look at the clippings on the side that I just did, these are quite a bit smaller, in my opinion, right? And here I mowed around in circles, blowing everything onto the inside just to get a look at the clippings. And again, some of this is from the last time I mowed too. Not bad. Going back over to the other side, Alright, here's where I mowed with the Gator blades. These are quite a bit bigger. Right, and you can see it's been about an hour since I mowed that first pass. This is starting to turn brown. The stuff that I cut, it's going to be a lot more obvious pretty soon. So, all in all, so far not bad at all. I got to mow the rest of it probably tomorrow. Let's see the rest of my land up there, and at the end of the day tomorrow we'll take a look and see how we did, but so far so good. Alright, so I mowed a little bit more today. Turns out I had a little bit more time, so here's what we did in the front. Did that area down there as well. And a couple of things I noticed. So here the grass was pretty high as well. I did adjust the deck. However, this is a little bit shorter than I normally would mow it. This grass had to be, again, 4 or 5 inches high. You know, now it's probably 2.5 to 3. You can see the clippings, right? Not too bad. So, with the Gator blades, this would have been, I would have had significantly more grass floating around, and you know, usually I'd have to mow that a couple of times over the same spots. Now, this thing is not a commercial mower. You know, I don't expect to get those crazy results. There are a couple of spots, like, okay, right here, I probably went over this a few times, or I just blew everything into this one spot. So, you know, that's one little area over about a couple of acres that I mowed here. So all in all, pretty good. And there's one other thing that I noticed. If we go back to the tractor for a second, no idea why, but if you take a look at the mower deck, this, for me, I've got significantly less grass clippings on there. You know, I run it without the deck covers because with them on it would just, they'd get packed over time. This is a lot less than I would normally have. So, is that a big deal? No, don't think it makes any difference, but something different's going on. Okay, so all of that being said, what do I think? Well, based on what I've done so far, I'm pretty happy with these things. Are they worth the money? They're expensive. I think it cost about $265 to get the blades and have them shipped to me. For me, it's worth it. Again, I'm gonna spend less time mowing. I think the result is gonna be better. I'm sure, if I added up the cost of my Gator blades and my John Deere mulching blades and my John Deere mulching kit and my Power Flow bagger and all the other things I've tried to do to eliminate time, this probably all works out. Yeah, it's a little bit expensive. Not everybody's going to go for that, but for me, it's okay. So I'll probably post a follow-up in a little bit. But so far, I'm going to call this a success story. And, if you decide to give them a try, I hope they work out for you, too.